Hey, football fans, there's a lot to get to regarding the clinching scenarios, so let's get on to it because it's going to be a doozy for week 17. So, let's start with the standings entering the final 2 weeks, and we'll start with the AFC. The Chiefs, the only team to clinch a spot, the only AFC team to clinch a spot in the postseason, won the AFC West, and they stand atop the conference at 11-4. The Titans are 10-5. The Bengals, who hold the sole possession of first place in the North, are 9-6. The Bills are also 9-6, but it's conference record that keeps the Bengals ahead, so the Bills are down to 4. They're tied with the Patriots for first, but it's division record that keeps the Bills at the 4th spot. The Colts are also 9-6 as well as New England, but the Colts beat them, so they're number 5. New England's number 6, and the Dolphins, who started 1-7, they're above the playoff line in the number 7 spot. Amazing. At 8-7. There are three other 8-7 teams: the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Raiders. Miami has the tiebreaker, has the common games over the Chargers, and I think they also beat Baltimore. I remember that was a Thursday night game. Baltimore has head-to-head over the Chargers, hence why they're eighth, and the Chargers have that same tiebreaker over the Raiders, hence why they're ninth, and the Raiders are 10th. Steelers are 7-7-1, still alive, but they're hanging by a thread. And as are the Browns and Broncos, who are each 7-8. Okay, now the NFC. Packers still number 1 in the conference at 12-3. The NFC East champion Cowboys lead the 11-4 teams with their 9-1 conference record. The Rams and Buccaneers are also 11-4, but the Rams' victory over Tampa Bay makes them number 3, and the Buccaneers are number 4. Both teams are playoff bound, but the Buccaneers have won the South. The West is still up for grabs. A bit more on that later. The Cardinals are now down to 10-5 and are in second place, having lost 3 in a row, but they made the playoffs because of outside help, which included the Rams. Um, Niners and Eagles are 8-7. Niners have the higher seeding because of head-to-head. Uh, Behind the playoff line, there are only 4 teams alive behind the playoff line: the Vikings, Falcons, the Saints, all at 7-8, and Washington on life support at 6-9. Okay, so now we're off to the scenarios. A lot of clinches can happen, especially in the AFC because there's a lot of mess in there. Only one spot is in. Only one spot is locked in. There are 6 spots available, and all but one can be filled in. And we will start with by order of standings with the Chiefs. Chiefs are 11-4. They lead the conference. They are in Cincinnati this weekend. If they win and Tennessee loses or ties, they get home field. If they tie, Tennessee has to lose. Uh, Again, Chiefs are in Cincy, facing the Bengals. Um, the Titans, who are second in the conference. Now, if they tie, they're in the playoffs. If they win the division. They also get the division if Indy loses or if both Indy and Tennessee both tie. There's other ways to get in the playoffs that even if the Titans lose, Chargers lost or tie, and the loss or tie for either the Patriots or the Ravens, or if both of them get it together, they get it. But yeah, the Titans are at home against the Red Hot Dolphins, who have won 7 in a row. They're trying for 8, so that should be interesting. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be pretty great for both teams, but if they win, they get the division finally. The Bengals third in the AFC. There are a lot of playoff spot scenarios that involve them tying, but they need a tie and a whole bunch of help. I think it's a tie, a Chargers loss, and other things that happen. But the main thing is, if the Bengals beat the Chiefs this week, they win the AFC North for the first time in I think it's 6 years. Yeah, um, all they have to do is win. If they tie, Baltimore can't win. Or even if they lose, if Baltimore loses and the Monday game between the Steelers and Browns ends tied, they get the division. So there's a lot of ways they can get this. The Bills, they're at home against, I think it's Atlanta. Yeah, they're at home against Atlanta. Now, the AFC East cannot be clinched. That'll take the final week. But if they win and Baltimore loses or ties, they're in. They're also in with a win and a loss or tie from either the Chargers or Raiders. And then there's 7 other scenarios that involve a tie. But they just got to win and let other things sort itself out. The Colts can get in. They earned that right with their latest win, which was on Christmas. The Colts can get in if all they have to do is win. Just beat the Raiders, they're in. And there's 2 other scenarios that involve a tie. If they tie, Baltimore has to lose, and either New England or Miami cannot win. So that'll do. But winning solves everything. The Patriots, who are in the 6th position, they can get in with a win and a loss or tie from either the Dolphins or the Raiders. And there's 4 other scenarios where they can get in with a tie, but they'll need other things to happen. So that's what's going on in the AFC. Now, in the NFC, I think pretty much everything else can be solved. Everything else can be solved. Maybe not positioning, but I think even the last 2 spots should be clinched. But as far as everything else, we will start again in standings order with the Packers. Packers are at home on Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. And boy, we owe them something. We can get number 1 this week. What needs to happen? We got to win. Dallas has to lose or tie. Thing is, Dallas plays Arizona. And I don't know if I can trust the Cardinals to actually do it. The Cardinals are on a bad stretch. They were 7-0. They lost 5 of their last 8. Out of their 5 losses, 4 were at home, and the 1 road loss was to Detroit. Ugh. And that's who's heading to Jerry World today. And that game takes place in the late window, and it's going to be on Fox. A lot of Fox networks here. So that's going to be on first before the Packers play on NBC. But if we tie, of course, we're not going to do that again. It's a Dallas loss, and either a combination of a Rams loss and Tampa Bay not winning, or Rams tied a Tampa Bay loss. But yeah, pretty much the top 4 in the NFC still alive in some form for number 1. But if we win, Dallas loses, that's it. And it'll be 1 week left, which means Jordan Love will probably get in the final game in Detroit. The only division left undecided in the NFC is the West. The North, East, and South all locked in, but the Rams can get the West. I ever thought the Rams would have a chance to win a division after the way things started with Arizona, and they were kind of falling off even after they were neck and neck with them. But yes, the Rams can win the division. Rams win. The Cardinals lost or tie, gets it done. If they tie, Arizona has to lose. The Rams on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. The Niners can get in. The Niners are in with a win and the Saints loss or tie. If they tie, the Saints have to lose, and Minnesota and Atlanta cannot win. The Niners, who do the Niners play this week? The Niners are at home against Houston. Given win, should be a given win. It was supposed to be for the Chargers, but Niners much better than the Chargers. They won't lose to Houston. Philly can get in. Yeah, the last 2 spots left in the NFC can be nabbed up, which means the conference can have 7 playoff teams and 9 teams done entering the final week. And with the Packers clinching home field, should that happen, I think the other 3 will just be jockeying. The other 3 divisions will just be jockeying for position, with number 2 being the prime spot because they play the lowest wild card. But anyway, the Eagles can get in. They need to win in quite a bit of help. They either win a Minnesota loss or tie, and a Saints loss or tie, or a win, a Minnesota loss or tie, or a Niners win or tie. I guess it has to do with like some sort of conference record tiebreaker. I guess, I don't know. If they tie, they need a whole bunch of things to happen. But yeah, the last 2 spots in the NFC can be filled in this week, which means there won't be much left to solve in the NFC. There may not be much of anything left to solve in the NFC. Now, I have to bring this up. I normally don't bring up elimination scenarios, but I have to bring this up because the AFC is just insane. So, you still have a lot of teams alive in the AFC. As I normally don't bring up elimination scenarios, but according to what I've read online, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Miami, the Chargers, and Vegas and Denver, they can all be eliminated. They can all be eliminated from playoff contention overall, which is weird. But the main one I'm fascinated by is Pittsburgh and Cleveland. They play each other on Monday night, and both teams need a lot to happen to stay alive in the race, and they need a lot to happen to stay alive in the division race. That division is still kind of wide open. However, if either the Ravens, Dolphins, Raiders, or Chargers, whatever, any of those four teams win, that Monday night game is going to be very important because it's going to be a pure elimination game. We don't really see a lot of those in football. That's why I have to bring this up. It's fascinating. We don't really see a lot of elimination games for two teams hanging by a thread. We don't really see that. But we could really see that if one of those four teams win. If one of them wins, in a Monday night game at that, oh my goodness. Even Vince McMahon couldn't script something like this. But yeah, if one of those four teams wins, that Monday night game is a pure elimination game. The loser is done. And that's going to be very intense, especially in a rivalry that's already as intense as the Browns and Steelers. And you know the Steelers, the last time the Browns were in Pittsburgh was a wild card game. We all know what happened there. So that's going to be very interesting. That's going to be a very interesting one, because it definitely looks like one of those teams is going to win. Though Baltimore, they're playing the Rams. They should lose. The Rams should beat them. Miami is in Tennessee. That's kind of a toss-up. Chargers are playing Denver. Now, they should beat Denver, but they lost to Houston, so we don't know. And Vegas is playing the Colts. So, I don't know. But if none of those teams win, then if none of those four teams win, then Pittsburgh's still alive. But Cleveland's screwed anyway, because all that needs to happen for them to be done is a loss. That's it. They lose, they're done. So, and I think they could be eliminated before they take the field on Monday, because it also says if the Bengals win and either the Dolphins or Chargers win, Cleveland's eliminated before they take the field, which is not good for Pittsburgh, because if that happens, the Browns are going to want a lot of motivate. That'll motivate the Browns to mess with the Steelers. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting, especially since Big Ben said this could be his last game in Heinz Field. He said regular season. He still believes this team making the playoffs, and so they have a shot, as the saying goes on Dumb and Dumber. So you tell me there's a chance. But anyway, those are the scenarios facing Week 17. It's going to be very insane. I expect a few things to come down to the final week. I hope it's not home field. I hope we get that now, which means Arizona, get your act together, please. But anyway, those are the scenarios facing Week 17. If you like this video, click the like button. Click subscribe if you want more. I'll have there will be three stories on Vocal in the description, which by recap of Week 16 and the scenarios and the written scenarios per conference, AFC and NFC. All three links will be in the description below, so check them out when you can. And I'll be back to recap Week 17 after the Monday game. So with that, I say stay tuned, and I know it's not even New Year's Eve yet, but I'll just say it here. Have a Happy New Year.